Hey guys again, that's me. You can see that it's still in the sunroom. The weather out there is getting nastier, but I don't think you guys can see that. So let's keep going, keep rolling. We're still in Analyze now. We're going to get into the data part of Analyze, which is a big part of the several weeks. We're going to look at that. So a lot of stats are coming. Be ready, be prepared. Minitab and Excel and all that fun stuff. So first thing I wanted to kind of remember these from all the stats and data-driven analytics that we're going to do. PGA, right? Be practical. Understand what are you trying to test? What are you trying to prove? Why is that important? Okay? Graphical, presented in a graphical way so people can understand what you're doing, right? Graphic is a very powerful tool to give a message. Analytical will be what proves your key point, right? How can you prove that in numbers what you were saying is real? What is the evidence? What is the hypothesis that you're testing? What is the value that actually give you that answer, right? So we're going to learn how to do things, but always think about these three things when you're presenting something. So first we're going to talk about scatterplots, right? Scatterplots is a very visual and powerful tool to look at the correlation between two variables, okay? So correlation between two variables means that we're talking about two variables that are attribute or continuous. Continuous. I don't know if that was the finger of the continuous. But it have to be two continuous variables that you want to look to see if there is a relationship between them. Attribute is just a yes or no. Now scatterplots can be used to attribute, but it makes a lot more sense when they're used with continuous data. Okay. So why we do this? To see some patterns, to see cause and effect relationship, but it's not a cause and effect, right? The cause and effect relationship. And that's a thing that people do it wrong all the time. That's a hypothesis thing, right? The data doesn't tell you that there's a cause and effect relationship happening. The logic tells you that, but the data is only saying that these two things correlate, means they're going in the same direction or not. Okay? And the assumption of causality, you have to do it by yourself or in the logic or by theory. So this is the path to create the scatter plots. You have the data that I'm going to show here in this slides. You have it on that Excel document. They have all the data for the analyze phase. You have this. Let's see how that called. Yeah, and it's called Scatterplot example, right? Yeah, how could it be more simple? So it has the 4 columns on your data set here. Oops. And that's the one that we're looking at, right? So you have observations, you have completion, beyond the dual time, you have test duration, you have times into shift test was completed, task waiting behind when job completed, right? So we have these 4 different or 5 different columns there to show your data, okay? And you can create scatter plots for all of those ones, right? So let's say we created for completion versus observation number. So in this axis here, we have the observation number. This is we have the completion. As you can see, two continuous scales here. Question is, what is the relationship between those two variables? Is there a relationship between them and what it is? So what do you guys think? Of course, there's this trend line in the middle, which gives you kind of the answer. But basically, if this line is a flat line, what does that mean? If it's a flat line, basically means that there's no relationship between if I change this axis, you don't have any impact on this axis, right? This one is a little bit up there, but it's probably not enough to actually see that there is a relationship. So you can see that, oh, if I increase here, it's not showing a big increase here. Maybe because there's no dots here, That's why it's a little bit up, but it's pretty random all over the place, right? This is how you created a mini tab. So you get graph, scatter plot with connection and groups. Completion time is Y, and observation as X variable. Okay, so you guys can pause the video now, copy that data, paste on mini tab, and see that working. So see if you can create this one. If you can't, just let me know. We're going to talk about that in class. This is another example. So now we did completion and duration, the same kind of pathway to create this chart on Minitab. So again, you guys can stop it and do it. You have duration here, you have completion. Is there an impact of duration and completion? Probably not, right? So you have a little bit down, but even less than that, you can see dots everywhere. What about time and completion? Well, this you can see that there is something going on, right? So you can see that there's an angle off that line here. You can see that if I'm increasing the time, the completion time is getting bigger. Of course, there are dots everywhere, but it's kind of showing a relationship where when increasing time, I'm increasing completion, or if I'm increasing completion, I'm increasing time at the same way, right? So that is caused positive or negative. I'll go back. Strong or weak. It's a positive because it's going up. So one in X impact positive in Y. And also it's somehow strong, right? Because all the dots are close together here, right? So you can see that there's something going on there. Or you can have this kind of relationship, right? So this kind of relationship, what's going on? Well, it's kind of weird, right? So we have it is going up in the beginning, but then somewhere along the way it's too much, and then it's going down again, right? So there is a certain impact, but this impact is not linear, right? It's not a straight line, right? So it goes up and then it goes down, okay? So you can see, if you try that thing, my girls do that thing, we're connecting the dots here. What can you guys see? I see two different things. What do you guys see? We talk about that in class. I see one person riding a bike, where here's the face and here's the bike and the wheels are here. Or I can see a penguin jumping, and this is the head of the penguin. This is the tail, right? Or this is the tail actually, and here you have that part on the top there going outside the water. Here the water is just jumping out. Anyway, so here there's a relationship, but it's not linear. So you have to know that as well, because when you're going to analyze this data, you have to use the right tools. So there is some relationship, is not linear. This is how you do it. This is how you can do it with Excel. So I wanted you guys to take a look at here and explain, then stop the video and do it by yourself. So you do insert, select data, insert chart, scatter. So they already have a scatter plot. And then you can right click on the dots and add a trend line, and then we'll show you the trend line. You can actually do this kind of trend line as well if you want, a logarithm, whatever kind of trend line you want, or linear, which is the straight line. That's what we have about Scatterplot. Very important tool for the graphical side, right? Understanding the relationship between two continuous variables.